Rule 5 Computed Value Method. If the value cannot be determined under the Rule 4, it shall be based on the computed value, which shall be include following: cost of produced, cost of manufacture, cost of processing of export goods, charges if any of the design or brand, and amount towards profit. Rule 6 Residual Method. Subject to the provision of Rule 3, where the value of the exported good cannot be determined under the provision of Rule 4 or 5, the value shall be determined using the reasonable means consistent with the principle and general provision in the rules, provided that the local market price of the exported good may not be only basis of determining the value of exported goods. Rule 7 Declaration by the exporter. The exporter shall furnish a declaration relating to the value of exported goods in the manner specified in the behalf. Rule 8 Rejected and declared value. When the proper officer has reason to doubt the truth or accuracy of the value declared in the valuation of export goods, he may ask the exporter of such goods to furnish a further information relating to documents and other evidence. If after receiving further information and absence of the response of such exporter, the proper officer still has a reasonable doubt about the truth of accuracy of the value being declared, the transaction value shall be deemed to have not been determined in accordance with sub rule 3, Rule 3, Sub Rule 1. As a request of the exporter, the proper officer shall intimate the exporter in writing the grounds for doubt, the truth and accuracy of the value declared in relation to the exported goods for such exportation of provision and reasonable opportunity being on before taking a final decision under the Sub Rule 1. Explanation 1 for the removal of doubts in the hereby declared. The rule for by itself does not provide the method of determining the value, provides a mechanism and procedure for rejecting the declared value in the case where there is a reasonable doubt that the declared value does not represent the transaction value, where the declared value is rejected. The value shall be determined by processing the subsequent sequential occurrence of Rule 4 6. Declared value shall be accepted when the proper officer is satisfied about the truth and accuracy of declared value after a certain inquiries, consultation with the exportation. The proper officer shall take into power or raise a doubt on the declared value based on certain reasons and which include significant variation in the value of goods after the kind and quality exported by the same tail compared quality in the comparable commercial transaction process. Significant higher value of compared to the market value of goods at time and the kind of quantity and time of exportation. The a misdeclaration of goods in the parameter which depreciation, quality, quantity, year of manufacture or produces. Analysis as per the circular number 37 2007 cust dated September October 9 2007 has been issued regarding the custom valuation determined by the value of exported goods rules 2007. The customs valuation determined by the value of exported goods rules 2007 have been framed in a format similar to the valuation rules for the imported goods. Conceptually, as accept the transaction value for exported goods has been emphasized in the such rules. As the case may be, Rule 3 specifically provided. Rule 3 said that stipulation of transaction value for exported goods shall be accepted even the buyer and seller are related, and provided that the relationship did not influence the price of the good, but the relationship is found influencing the price and determine the proper office on the receipt of further information from the exporter. The value of exported goods shall be determined by proceeding sequentially from Rule 4 to Rexit and valuation. This person who shall be deemed to be related have been specified in the sub-rule 2 of said valuation rules, provided that has been adopted from the customs valuation determining the value of imported goods. Rule 7. Transaction value is a primary basis for valuation of exported goods, and method specified in the Rule 3 will be applicable in the vast majority of cases of export of acceptance and declared value. In the case where the transaction value is not accepted, the valuation of exported goods shall be done by applicable Rule 4 to 6 sequentially. Acceptance of transaction values, however, subject to the provision of Rule 8, which subject to rejection of declared value for an exported goods in certain exceptional cases. In a situation where the assessing officer has reason to doubt the truth or accuracy of declared value and the further inquiry and investigation need to be determined appropriate value, it is deemed to be instruction when the investigation or inquiry is undertaken to determine whether or not the declared value should be accepted as a transaction value. The export consignment shall not be orderly detained. Whether there are doubts about the declared value in export goods, the proper officer shall retain the respective sealed samples, whereby considered necessary and feasible, and allow the goods to be exported after due process. However, it is clarified that in situation serious violation of such outright misdirection of goods, attempt to export the goods unauthorizedly, that is smuggling the goods out of the country, or where there is in forgery, fraudulent documentaries and goods were be detained or ceased to be required. No export consignment shall be detained for the provision of doubt regarding the valuation without the approval of judicial principal commissioner or commissioner of customs. Explanation relating to rejection of declared value of exported goods has been added. Rule 8 and being clarified to clarify an objective of excising the authority for rejection of declared value. The explanation clarifies that is a rule of such does not provide method of determining a value, and it is merely provided a mechanism and produce a procedure for rejection of declared value of exported goods. In certain cases, it also clarifies that where the proper officer is satisfied about the consultation with the exportation, that declared value shall be accepted. It is an explanation that given certain illustration reason which could be form the basis of doubts and doubt about the truth and accuracy of declared value. While raising the doubt about the truth and accuracy of a declared value in terms of rule 8, the proper officer should issue an inquiry motto specifying the reason for such doubt. Meanwhile, the goods which are released for export against a simple undertaking after the travel of representing sample indicated para 5. Decision is initiate the process of investigation with an valuation aspect. If any shall be taken the earliest at the level of joint or additional commission. The case where the transaction value cannot be determined as declared value and rejected a rule 8, the exported value has to be determined by comparing the rule 4, and the proper officer will take into utmost care in selection of export preferred or in-depth inquiry. Proper officer will make an adjustment on objectively basis of relevant factors, some of which has been illustrated by the rule 4 sub rule 2. And the value determined by the computed value method under Rule 5, the proper officer shall give due consideration for cost certificate issued by the cost accountant, the chartered accountant, or the government approved value or procedure for the exporter. And clarify that main purpose of the introduction of export valuation rules is to clarify sound legal basis. Thus, the valuation of exported goods is also expected to check deliberate overvaluation of exported goods, which is misutilization and value-based export initiative scheme. At the same time, due care has been taken to facilitate the movement of bona fide export goods, which is vital for countries' economic growth. Assessing officers shall therefore exercise the due caution and avoid unnecessary queries relating to the truth and accuracy of declared export value. The export valuation rules are not intended to bring about any significant changes in the existing pattern of valuation of export goods. It is reasonable for a supervision officer to monitor regularly export valuation practices so as to ensure proper implementation of said valuation rules without hindering the flow of bona fide export goods. The Rule 7 of export valuation rules call for declaration relating to the value of being filed by the exporter.